I'm gonna hit you so hard you won't see nothing. Ever, 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 ever.
Audio skulls all day.
The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab.
Repetitive motion that you're doing all the time, and then you don't remember what it feels like to feel that good.
Yeah, it's weird. So what I will say is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 135. 135 episodes here of this Mad Scientist Lab podcast. As always, it is I, RJ, the pizza guy, along with Jared, the visual mad scientist. Jared, say hello. There he is. Okay. And we're joined today by our good friend Arvis. What's up, man?
Hey,
what is
going on?
Oh, dude. I'm so happy you're here. I said that before the show started, and I genuinely mean that. Thank you for coming over.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So,
what?
I don't know. So, so have you ever been to a chiropractor, Jared?
No. Because I don't believe in them.
You don't believe in them?
Wow.
Do you think they're quacks?
Yes. They claim they're doctors. There's no medicine. It's not.
You know what? I'm gonna disagree with you, Jared, just because I know some chiropractors, and I will tell you they're amazing people.
No, I didn't say they weren't bad people.
But even above that, it's they will typically look at things from a holistic perspective, which I think in a lot of places we miss that, right? But they look at the holistic person and they're trying to work with the person to get them in the best place that they can be, whether that's nutrition or other things. And I'm saying you don't see a lot of people who take that tact. So that's why, like I said, I had some friends who are chiropractors, amazing people, and literally, some of the advice they give is it would take you away if you ever gave it a shot.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to actual, because they're doctors,
yes,
but not like doctors.
So I'm glad you said that. I'm going to give you a quick story to kind of come back to that.
Hell yeah, stories are cool.
So, and I can't remember the country, but think about it, a couple hundred years ago, something like that, where this doctor noticed that think about labor and delivery, right? That the female patients and the babies were dying at a higher rate because the doctors were delivering them, surgeons to be exact. And the nurse midwives, who had less education, and at that time people were really, not giving women their due, they had a higher survival rate. So it's like me telling you you're going to pay less money and get someone less educated, but you have a higher likelihood of your wife living and your baby. So he was like, wait a minute, how could this be? It doesn't make sense. So he started investigating. He started trying various things. And then one day, one of his friends died because he was doing an autopsy. He nicked himself. And he thought, wait a minute. Then the midwives washed their hands before they deliver a baby, right? So he couldn't explain germs. He couldn't tell you what it was about. And so he goes, yeah, they washed their hands. So let's try that. So for like a year, I think it was, he throughout his hospitals to say, let's wash your hands. And they start washing their hands, and guess what happens? Their survival rate matched, matched, didn't beat, it matched the midwives. And he was like, wow.
Wait, when was this?
I could look up the date for you, but like maybe 1800, something like that.
Okay. I was about to say, these motherfuckers ain't washing their hands.
But they didn't, Jared, they didn't know.
I know.
They didn't know. So here's what happens. After that first year where they're getting these amazing results, the other surgeons, because there's a hierarchy among doctors, it's, I'm a surgeon, so I'm special, and you're not. And so this guy, I'm not sure he was a surgeon.
That's
but
higher education in general.
Correct. And so literally the surgeons were like, well, you're saying I'm dirty if I have to wash my hands. So literally they forced that guy out. He got blackballed. He lost his job. He ended up going insane. And it wasn't until years later when his wife cleared his name. So in that country, and I can find out after the show, there's a statue, right? And I go, but, it didn't do him any good.
Yeah.
And then the second question I asked is, what about the midwives who were washing their hands before anybody told them?
Well, yeah.
And so that's why it's, whenever people start doing the hierarchy stuff, I get a little bit, because I believe that everybody is smarter than me about something. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
Dude,
And-
that's fucking dope. that you
And
think
I'm
like
smarter than them about something. And we have to be open-minded to listen and experience before we pass that judgment. Because if we don't, well, then we could be missing out on a great opportunity. And I have tons of examples where people who, I'm telling you, I've gotten knowledge from people who were homeless, right? And people go, well, why would you listen to that person? I'm saying because they gave me some knowledge that was true and that I needed that I didn't even think about. And so I get a little bit sensitive to that because, again, I believe everybody can provide some value.
that. Dude,
Yeah, I get that.
Hell yeah.
I still stand by what I said. No, I'm playing.
Okay.
It's all right.
No, I'm just imagining. I'm thinking about the fucking doctor who he just finished fucking cutting the grass and shit, and I'm gonna go into surgery right now. I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Oh, I mean,
you got gas on your hands, buddy. What are you doing?
yeah.
For you old school people who know that you got to put gas into a lawnmower before you fucking
Pull the cord?
yeah.
Pull the cord. Hell yeah.
Yeah, those are going away. They're all electric. Almost
Everything's
all
electric now, man.
Yeah,
It's weird. No, it is weird, and it sucks because I work in the automotive business, and it's weird.
well,
Yeah. Don't buy an electric car. Just don't do that. But isn't that gonna be like the norm probably in 10 years? 15,
What,
maybe?
electric cars?
Yeah, like just
Well,
like
they're
into-
pushing for it, but
Yeah.
I don't think. No, I don't believe it because all these people. You're still fucking polluting the environment with because you got to fucking power plants and all that shit. You're still having to produce the energy somehow to charge all these electrical things, and then you got to get the materials for the batteries, which apparently, according to Elon Musk, there's plenty of it, but it's just you're fucking just wrecking parts of the earth to get whatever you need to make the batteries and shit.
Right.
And I'm not a big fan of, especially now. And I actually remember saying this a while ago when electric cars started like becoming like the popular thing. I was like, what's gonna happen? We don't know like what the not side effects. So let's say you buy a car, right? A regular car, gas engine. You buy that car, and over time it wears out. You have to replace parts and all this other stuff.
Yep. Wear and tear.
Yep. When like Tesla and all them came out, it was like, yeah, it's great now. You're not using gas now, but what's gonna happen years later? And we're starting to see that now. The batteries are starting to die. It costs like $25,000 to fucking replace the batteries. So it's like, yeah, you saved all that money in the beginning. Well, kind of saved it because they're still kind of expensive. But now you got to pay another $25,000 or buy another electric vehicle.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Jared.
Yeah.
That the battery technology is probably, I'm not going to say infancy, but it's not where it needs to be just yet. And so, but think about anything that you do, right? When you initially started, you don't have all the answers.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't wait for perfect. You have to get the best thing you can out at the time. So I think that they're going to that. And so hopefully, with solar and other things like that, there'll be a way to make a technology so we're not as
Sustainable energy.
yeah, something better. Just because it's like at the end of the day, you've seen some countries who are wrestling with the whole fossil fuel thing, and you have to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to take that first step, and then that first step is going to be a little messed up, and then eventually, hopefully, you get to a place where we can do good things. I'll give you an example, right? Not with that, but so at my house a while back, we had chipmunks, right?
Mm.
So my wife thought they were cute.
I was going to say, sounds like good eating.
Well,
We are in Virginia, so.
right. So she's
Hell
naming
yeah,
them like
chipmunks, dude.
she's like
I've
naming
never had
them-
a chipmunk, but.
Look, we didn't want a chipmunk. I'm gonna tell you why you don't want chipmunks,
Dude,
So she's
Chipmunks are
naming,
badass, dude. I swear.
Yeah, till they tear your yard up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You are
no,
right.
No bullshit.
They
no
are
bullshit.
badass. And so check this out. So anyway, we got these chipmunks. She's naming them like Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. And I'm like, but there's 4, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it just 2 couples or
yeah,
something like that?
Chippendale.
Right. And so I'm like, so here's the deal. So I find out that chipmunks actually can hurt your foundation of your house.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't know that. At first, I was like, okay, whatever. But when I find that, I said, well, now they got to go. I got to pull a Don Corleone up on them.
Yeah,
and so,
yeah.
right. So here's the deal. You know, I tell my wife, hey, they can hurt the foundation. She's like, oh, my God, you better not kill them. And I'm like, well, sweetie, you know, we love the house. You know, what about the house? So she makes me promise. She says, you have to promise me you're not going to kill him. So I was like, okay, I promise. But I did it too fast. That was my mistake. She said, I did it too fast. And so, because what that means is, hey, you're not going to kill him. But you don't get RJ to kill him. You'll get Jared to kill him. And that's exactly what I was thinking, right? Maybe not you two specifically, but I was going to have a friend
I don't know
come
if
over.
I want to kill Chipmunk, man. They're just chilling, bro.
See, here's the deal.
I'll pop that motherfucker. with
I know
a
you're
pellet gun.
I was going to put a
dude.
contract out. I was going to put a contract
did
out.
ya?
Somebody was going to do it. I don't know who was. But she was right. She was like, yeah, you answer too fast. So she says, no one that you know or that you meet can be responsible. Look, she went like LA legal on me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. So I reluctantly was like, okay.
Mm.
And then I just said, hey, look, I'm going to look for a peaceful solution. And if I can, well, then you know what? He's going to be with Luca Brasa. And so,
yeah, hell yeah.
so
Sleep
here's
with
what
the
I do.
fishes, baby.
Don't they have like, I don't think animal control would do that, but don't they have like, that's pest control?
Well, I'll get to that. I did look at pest control, but again, the pest control I call had kind of the same mentality I did.
Kill them motherfuckers.
Exactly. And again, that violates, the promises. So, but when I did some research, I found
We can whack them.
there was something at Home Depot. It's like a ground bone meal, and it works on a bunch of animals. So I said, okay, I'll try it. It was like $10, and that worked. Like they left. So literally, I poured it around, and they never came back. Now they went to my neighbor's house, which is a party foul. So I told my neighbor, and then he used it, and then it went to a third person in the neighborhood who I didn't know, and then I kind of let it alone. But it was. I tell that story to say, I found a solution that I never would have looked for if I wasn't in a category where I wasn't going to kill him. So I was thinking I had a solution. It was the only solution. But my wife expanded my thinking and going, wait a minute. No, you don't kill him. And I found a solution. And so I still have that. I still have that product. I told a friend of mine about it. He used it. His chipmunks left. And literally, I bought this years ago. I told another friend, he used it. And literally, it's one vial. And so it was, sometimes when we're stuck in a certain mindset and we think there's only one solution, we don't look for anything else. And that's why I tell that story, is because if you look for another solution, you might find something that's even better, right?
Yeah.
And so I throw that out.
What the hell is bone meal? I was stuck back there.
Dude, I'm so glad you're here.
I think it's
Awesome.
I think what it is, but I'm not sure, is they take like deceased animals and they ground them up.
Oh.
I'll show you the product. I'll show you the product.
I don't want to
But
see
look,
it now.
yeah, but
He's
here's-
like, I'm just going to feed you the bodies.
But
of
here's the
others,
deal.
dude.
I didn't look. Nothing was killed by me. It was already gone. They could have been in like a geriatric center and they just passed away. And they were like, okay, let's recycle this. But like I said, it's the whole point of the story is, again, some people have a solution in mind.
Yeah.
And they don't consider anything else, which is the story I have to share with you guys today, if I could.
Oh, man, dude. That's awesome, man.
Please do.
Okay, so go ahead, RJ. I'm sorry.
No. I'm just saying it's like awesome. Like, I'm glad there's people out there that think like that because it's just refreshing, man. That's
is.
all. It's very refreshing.
So the story I have to share with you guys today involves the U.S. military.
Okay.
So think around 2010 time frame, military was starting to be under a lot of pressure because of sexual assaults.
Okay.
It was the impression of people that the military wasn't doing enough to dissuade and to punish and to pursue charges on people with sexual assaults.
Okay.
And so, in fact, there was so much pressure that they wanted to take away court-martial authority. So that's the court authority from the senior officers. They wanted to take it away from them. And so the military was trying to resist that. So they were under a lot of pressure to show progress. But it was how they showed progress. You see, what most people don't know is they were trying to get convictions regardless of the evidence. And I'm going to share some of those cases with you so you can make your own opinion.
Yeah. Hell fucking yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. So like, as an example, right? You had a vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Winfield Jr., testify. And he testified in front of Congress and says, we're getting convictions in cases where civilian prosecutors won't even pursue charges. I want you to think about that for a second.
Okay.
The military is saying, we're getting convictions on these cases where civilian prosecutors won't even pursue charges. And the thing that struck me is nobody asked, how are you getting convictions in cases where civilians will not pursue charges. No one asked that. In fact, Admiral Winfield got called out by an organization for lying. He ended up retiring shortly thereafter. And the then Secretary of Defense doubled down and says, no, he's telling the truth. We are getting convictions in cases where civilian prosecutors are not pursuing charges. And so what you have is you've created the environment where people can be falsely accused and wrongly convicted in the name of getting progress, in the name of getting results.
Ooh,
and
that's hairy.
it is hairy. So
Dude, that's fucking nuts, honestly.
I think it is too. But again, a lot of people don't even know. And so here's an example of a case. So imagine you have a man. He finds out that his wife at the time is having an extramarital affair with a guy. And not only is she having an affair, but she gets pregnant. So he files for divorce and gets custody of their daughter. And then she files sexual assault charges against him.
Oof.
Hold up. So she goes to civilian authorities, and they go, we're not going to pursue charges. There's no evidence to support that. Not to mention, you have a motive to fabricate some other things. So we go back to that letter. We're pursuing and getting convictions in cases where civilians won't pursue charges. So she goes to the military. The military says, hey, we'll take it. We'll take it to court-martial. So they take him to court-martial, and she agrees she'll drop the charge if he gives up custody of his daughter.
Jesus.
But he says, no, I didn't do this. So he fights it. He gets found guilty. He's sentenced to jail. But before things happen,
Oh, that's fucking crazy. That happens way too much.
well,
man.
we have at least 400 cases, RJ. We'll tell a little bit more about that in a second. So his mom gets the guy who she's having an affair with on a recorded line where he admits he got $10,000 before he testified in court and that he lied. Gets him on tape. In fact, I can take you to the site where it is so you can hear it yourself. Your listeners can hear it if they want. So
that's fucking dope, dude.
Yeah,
Hell
it is dope. So literally, he goes back to the military and he's like, hey, here's this evidence. So the military has a hearing where they hear that evidence. And the guy's on the stand, the lover, and he admits that not only did he get $10,000, he got $100,000.
What the fuck?
Fuck, dude.
Look.
For real?
Yeah, look, I'm telling you. And so the military immediately says, well, we can't use this as evidence to exonerate you. So here's the question. Wait a minute. So you had a hearing to hear evidence that you couldn't use to exonerate a person when, they admitted they took a $100,000 bribe and they lied, right? So they don't admit it. The judge says, hey, I can't admit it. So it comes up in appeal, and then I believe his congressman, he gets to write a letter, and then it's the Air Force. The Air Force changes their story and says, well, he could have used it because they found out he could have used it. He chose not to. Well, he used his discretion. So which one is it? Was he not allowed to, or did he use his discretion? And then they changed the story to say, well, hey, he submitted it too late. So that's just one case where they got a conviction where a civilian prosecutor refused to go forward. And there's others, right?
Yeah, I got in trouble a few times when I was in the military.
Okay.
And I kind of feel like they don't they're I get it. It's a whole separate thing, but they're on their own fucking system of justice, I guess.
They are.
Because if I got in trouble outside, in ways it's double jeopardy. Because if I get in trouble outside for something, you can't. Why the hell are you punishing me when I'm already getting punished out here for this crime or whatever it was? Why would you then go back and punish me again? You understand what I'm saying?
I do, and that's just one of the many, many things that the system has that is flawed. But again, people don't know, and so if I can share another case,
Arvis, real quick.
Go ahead.
What is it? You've been obviously eloquently telling us all this stuff, which is great. What is it that this is a part of your job, your work?
It is not. I represent a group.
Okay.
We have a website. It's www.wouldyu.care.
All right.
Oh,
We have a Facebook group. We also have a website where it's attached to a change.org. So you can read about 7 of the 400 cases we have. And if you choose to sign the petition and share it.
What is it one more time?
Our website is www.wouldyu, YOU.care, CARE.
And how did you come to kind of be a part of this? You know,
Because I, too, was falsely accused and wrongly convicted.
oh shit! All right. So, all right. Well, we can.
This is it, right?
Yeah, that's the website. And it leads to a change.org petition, which you can go to and sign. And again, what we tell people is you're not saying, hey, you completely believe everything we're saying. What we're asking for is an independent panel to review the evidence. Because as long as it's in the military system, guess what? They're not going to do anything. There's no pressure to do anything. I'll share another quick story. This is
yeah, of course, man. Please.
This is a Marine, a former Marine, David Montalvo.
Hoorah.
Yep. So he and his friend, another Marine, are having a little party, get together in the barracks, and this friend's girlfriend brings a friend over, and they're chatting it up, drinking, doing things like that, and then they eventually leave for whatever reason. So he passes out, right? David does, and the young lady and his friend's girlfriend come back, and she gets in bed with him while he's sleeping, right? So he's passed out drunk, and she initiates oral sex with him while he's sleeping, right? So can he consent because he's drunk and he's sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
So he wakes up thinking he's dreaming, and they continue to have sex. They have oral
I feel
anal.
like I've heard this story before.
Look, I don't doubt it.
Mm.
And so they do it. And then the next day, he sleeps through his formation. He has someone come to the barracks to wake him up. She's there. She wakes up. She gets dressed, gives him a little hug goodbye, and then they break. And then later he finds out, well, you've been accused of sexual assault. And he's like, wait a minute. So and during his trial, he gets found guilty of the vaginal and the anal, but not the oral, because she initiated that while he was sleeping. But that's the type of case.
That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all, man.
Look, again, we have cases where people were too scared to come forward because they're scared of getting a label. They're scared of being attacked. I mean, look at the Johnny Depp trial.
I was just going to bring that up.
Look at the Johnny. Is for a man to admit that something like this happened to him, one, nobody believes him.
And you feel like other men will think you're
Correct.
weak or
Correct.
or like,
And
the stigma.
exactly. There's tons of stigma. And then here's the other part, is the military knows that this happens, right? Because they were under pressure, right, in order to get results. So again, what I tell people are the right results getting convictions when the charges are false.
No.
And I would say no, but again, it's going to take the American people, who say, okay, I don't want my child joining the military until the military corrects this. In fact, there's a document. It's called the JPP. It's an acronym. I can get that to you as well. Well, the military admitted that they were having, they call it barriers to the fair administration of justice in sexual assault cases. They admitted as much. And then going forward, they changed a few laws to make them a little more open, but they didn't go back to correct any of the cases that had been impacted.
Mm-mm.
And I'll share with you one last case real briefly because it did get overturned. It was by a Navy SEAL. His name is Keith Berry. He was out in Coronado. He gets accused by his then, special friend. She believed that it was more of a relationship than he did. He goes to court-martial, goes to jail, gets found guilty. He's like, look, I didn't do this. This guy's a war hero. He's served overseas. He's been awarded for action, things like that. Because he won't sign a paper making him a sex offender, they put him in solitary confinement. They deny him his medication.
Mm.
And through intervention of an external friend, they take him out of solitary and things like that. Well, the admiral, the convening authority in his case, who had jurisdiction over it, a whistleblower comes forward and admits that admiral was speaking to the head prosecutor in the Navy, a 3-star and a 2-star, the deputy. And he was encouraged not to overturn the case, even though he felt, based on the evidence, that this guy wasn't guilty. So the whistleblower comes forward, and this is after he's been, discharged from jail. This guy's homeless. Can't get a job at McDonald's. Can't get a job driving Uber is the example he uses because he has this he's
criminal
homeless,
record,
basically.
yeah.
Exactly.
Damn,
And
dude,
it's-
this is fucking nuts.
And it's specifically the charge, right? Because, look, if you murdered somebody, you might get a job. But if you're a sex offender, nobody wants to hire you.
Yeah.
And the reason, and I'm going to give a little bit of info about the businesses. think about a business, right? It's you might believe somebody, but you don't want your customers thinking you're hiring somebody, a poor character, because they don't know the background of the person. They don't know that the person is not guilty. Are they going to take the time to look at it? And then they're worried about their liability insurance. Let's say they hire somebody, he didn't do it, but then another coworker sees him online, because you can just do a Google search and it pops up, and they say, oh, he did this and this. Even though he didn't, their liability insurance, wait a minute, you hired this guy and you knew he had this conviction? Well, he was not guilty and da-da-da-da. Bam. And then there's a big settlement. It reflects poorly on them in the press. And so that's why I don't want to put them in a negative light, because their hands are tied about it. But so with Keith Berry, the whistleblower comes forward, and the military they basically have a hearing, they hear it, and the military does not want to overturn his case. So even though they know, hey, this guy's not guilty, they want that conviction. Because remember, they went to Congress to say we're getting convictions when civilian prosecutors are not even pursuing charges. So long story short, and I have a copy of that admiral's affidavit, if you'd like that as well, where he admits, based on pressure from the then president and Senator Gillibrand, he was worried about what would happen to him, his career, because they look at how you administer sexual assault justice for promotion.
What the fuck?
Yes, they do.
Dude.
And so it's...
Yo, this is fucking crazy, man.
Look, again, people don't know, RJ. And again, the military, they acknowledge it privately. They acknowledge it via this report that I can share. You guys can post it if you want. But it's, again, if the American people knew, are you going to let your kid join? Are you going to let your kid join the military?
Especially boys.
Jared, that's exactly the point I was going to make it. Where your daughter would be believed, but your son would not be.
Yeah. Fucking. Damn, that's wild as shit. I'm still trying to process that.
Yeah. That was a lot to take in. When he was walking up to the house, he said, "Oh, I got a story for you." And I'm thinking, "Okay, cool." And then, bam! Wow,
and this goes hand in hand with
bomb on me.
This goes hand in hand with, like you said, with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. It's like, man, like, and I feel like there is a movement for the that's starting to happen, especially with that case. There is a movement of like, yo, like, stop treating men like shit. They keep saying. And I probably will get heat for this shit, whatever. But I'm not a big believer in the gender equality, like the wage gap. I'm not a huge believer in that, because there's been studies that, first of all, women tend to pick jobs that are more feminine anyway, or they're most likely at home and they're working. They're doing housewife shit.
Yeah.
Men tend to have the more dangerous jobs, so that's why they get paid more. So, like, there's reasons and justifications for why there is the so-called gap.
I have an opinion on that too, Jared. Like I said, I know amazing women who are exceptional, and I will tell you, in my experience with them, they are less likely to demand. I'll give you an example. I had a friend, this is before I got married, and she was doing everything at this job, right? She was amazing. I mean, I looked at what she was doing, and she wasn't getting promoted. They would tell her, hey, the next quarter. And not only was she doing her primary job, she had all these secondary collateral duties because people had left, and they said, hey, we're temporarily going to give you this job, and then we're going to take it when we hire someone else. And they didn't. It was bullshit. So it was always the next quarter. So, dude, her hair was coming out, like in clumps. That's how stressed she was. So I said, hey, let's go to a recruiter and see what you could get paid somewhere else. But she didn't want to leave. She was loyal to this company. But I said, okay, we're just going to experiment and see what they would do. So we go to the recruiter. She has 5 interviews. She gets offers from all of them. So we look at it. And I'm like, look, you're about to do less work and get paid more money. But she still was hesitant because she felt loyal to this company.
Oh, fuck that company.
So she goes to him. Right. So,
I know that all too well, man.
Yeah,
I know that all too well.
So I said, okay, give him another shot. Go to him and say, look, that you're thinking about leaving. So she tells him, but she doesn't say, hey, I actually have physical offers that I can leave. And so, hey, next quarter, it wasn't a good quarter. Come on now, just give us some more time. And she finally just says, okay, I'm putting in my notice. I think she gave him like a month, too. She gave him more than 2 weeks. And then they agreed to match the offer. right? So think about it. She had been working all this stuff for years, but only being pushed did she get to the point where, okay, I'm willing to leave. I'm willing to cut your tail out of here in order. They go, okay, we'll match it. And she thought about staying. And I said, well, wait a minute. They got you doing all these extra duties.
You're going to do less work over there.
Yeah. I said, you're going to be less stressed.
Mm-hmm.
So they offered her more than those offers. I was like, damn, wait a minute. I thought it was a bad quarter, right?
Yeah.
So she says, hey, what do you think I should do? I said, well, it's about you being happy. I said, if it were me,
I would go to those other companies.
look, I'm pulling a Tyreek Hill, Efton Pitts.
Yeah.
I'm going to Miami. I'm about to get. I love you, but I'm about to leave. And so she did.
Here's what I would have done. I would have fucking took the higher offer for the the job that they get, and then go to those other people and be like, well, they're offering me this to stay. Can you match it? If they match it, and I'm still doing less, shit.
So Jared, you just made my point, because I think that's a lot of what happens in the wage gap. It's if you're not willing to forcefully go and give repercussions. If I don't get this, I'm going to leave. If I don't do this, I'm going to leave.
But
you're not going to get it.
I had to learn that, though. That wasn't something that I was just, because I would get fucked over in companies like probably like 2 jobs ago. I was already underpaid when I came on, but I needed a job at the time.
Right.
So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. I'll just take it now. And then I started looking for other shit. Something else came along, and they were offering me more money to go there. And it was like, okay. And I put in my 2 weeks, and then they were like, well, are you going to give us a chance to match it? I'm like, can you match this? They're like, no, we can't do that. Well, fuck are you talking about then? What are we talking about?
Bye.
I don't know. But I had to learn that. I don't think I don't know. In some situations, probably there is some shitty ass fucking manager out there.
So Jared, I think, and that's the deal. I think about when I was a little boy playing, right?
Yeah.
I learned, ask for what you want. And if you don't get it, be willing to walk away. I learned that as a little kid. And so what I'm saying is, when you see how we raise our little boys and our little girls, I tell people, I said, you need to both do things that's gonna give them self-esteem, positive self-esteem, and ask for what they want and be willing to walk away if they don't feel that they're being, represented the right way. And so I go back to that, is how are we raising children?
Yeah.
And how are we educating them? We teaching them all this other stuff, but are you teaching them?
Yeah, we're teaching about pronouns and shit.
Right. It's guess what? Ask for what you want. Hey, do some research. And if you're not getting it, you're right. If you have to do what you have to do, you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But you're working towards moving somewhere else if you're not going to be compensated, if you're not going to be taken care of. And I think people are starting to learn today that you have to treat people with respect as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you better fucking treat people with respect.
If you don't, they're going to leave.
But yeah, but I think like you're saying, like exactly what you're saying, because again,
I can elaborate on that too.
Yeah, I've experienced that myself. It's like I'm like, I don't feel like I'm being appreciated at this job. You keep asking me to do more, but you're not appreciating what I'm already doing for you, and my pay is not going anywhere. So what's the fucking point? And
and I'm gonna go back to the NFL a little bit, because I'll get in debates with this. RJ and I were talking a little bit about it. Is you'll see NFL teams, billionaires, go to the players and be like, "Hey, RJ, you gotta be a team player, man. We need to take this pay cut. We need." And so I know fans who are like, "That dude is selfish," and I'm like, "Wait a minute. That man's going to play 3-5 years. We don't know how long he could be injured.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to do whatever he can for his family because this is his shot."
Yeah.
I said, so look, he loves the team. He cares about the team. But at the end of the day, he needs to care about his family and his well-being. And so, but a lot of times these players get portrayed as, well, they're not team players. They're trying to hurt the team. They're asking for too much.
Which is, in most cases, is probably the total opposite. They want to win, but they also trying to set themselves up for the future.
Exactly. Look, Tyreek Hill, Efton picks, right?
Yeah.
Dude. So to elaborate, I guess, on the treating people, like, especially in like the work environment, right?
Right.
Like, I kind of had to learn that. Well, not learn that. It's something I already knew. So, obviously with my old job being a manager and managing a shop, I had a staff at one point. I had like 32 or 33 employees. Like,
okay,
so
that's big responsibility.
Yeah. So there's like, you have to, And I agree with you. You gotta be a good boss, man. Like you have to be. There's been plenty, and people will look at you crazy. And it's like, why are you doing that? It's like, well, if I have this guy coming to work every day and he's happy to be here, then I'm willing to do that for my sake. Because if he's not here, then I'm going to be here, and I'm already here enough. Do you know what I mean? There's times where it's like it was an inconvenience to me as a boss. Like, hey, boss, this is what I need from you. It's like, all right, man, if that's what you need from me, then I'll bite the bullet and then, go do your shit, and I'll see you in a couple days. And they'd come back, and, you can call them, like say it's, you got a snow day or something, and it's like, hey, man, I need your help. And they're like, all right, boss, I'll come help you, because I gave them that time for themselves when they really needed it. Because I personally know what it's like to, and we all do. I think everybody does, to work for somebody or a job or a company where if you call off for whatever reason, like say you're legitimately calling off, not bullshitting or anything like that, and they try to make you feel like crap for doing it, dude. Yeah, it's like,
that's one thing that, again, I learned. I had to learn that too. It's like,
fuck that.
If I need a day, bro, I need a fucking day.
Yeah,
and I'm calling it. If it's mental health shit is very, actually, now that I think about it,
Mental health is very important.
It's Mental Health Month.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mental Health Month.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So like, there again, my last job, there'd be days I'm like, yo, I am not in my right mind right now. I'm not trying to drive to no fucking city. I'm not trying to do no fucking work.
You know what, Jared? I love you mentioned that, and shout out to Mental Health Month. And it's because think about the stuff you're seeing in the news. A lot of that is mental health, and it's having people to recognize, you know what, so-and-so's not the way they normally are.
Yeah.
They need some time. They need a break. And it's us recognizing that and giving them that space is what allows them to function, so they don't do anything that the whole world will regret down the road. And we're seeing that in the news today.
As they call it, going postal.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So I work with a young man. He's a little younger than me. He has a condition. He's epileptic. Okay. So he's a little, he's not, for lack of better terms, not all the way there. I mean, he's very smart, very aware, very intelligent guy. Right. But we had the news on in the shop the other day, or in the lane, that the service lane that's in at night, because my porter likes to watch it. I don't really pay attention to it anymore, because there's nothing positive in it, really. And he comes out and he said, "Why are you guys watching the news?" I was like, I'm not really watching it. I said, I don't care for it. He was like, yeah, there's never anything positive on it.
Nope.
Like, he's like, what about happy news? He said, every time I turn it on, he said, I'm depressed. And then he said a few other things, and he walked, he went about his way, and it's just like, I think that, I know that, and if you turn it on, dude, there is nothing happy about the news at all. And it's a projection, okay? Because I used to tell Jared, like, when I was a kid, and maybe even when you were younger, when we were all younger, it's the nightly news, you know what I mean? Like, it's your source of information. It's like a thing. It's like it's a routine thing. It's on every day. It's always around, whatever it is. But that was the thing for me as a kid. It's like, 10 o'clock's on, the news on. I knew it was my bedtime. I'd probably watch it for 15, 20 minutes and go to bed.
You went to bed at 10 o'clock, motherfucker?
When I was a kid, when I was a kid,
Look,
that's white privilege, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on now.
Oh,
My ass was in bed 8.
Nah, man,
8 o'clock.
I was watching wrestling and all sorts of shit. Come on, man.
But you know what? I think RJ's got a really good point, because the idea is this. Is I've read this. I don't know how true this is, but it seems true to me. Is that after events like that happen, there's more happen because of the media coverage. Is people see that in the media and they copycat.
Copycat, yeah.
And so it's almost like you need to balance out the message, and you do need to have some positive messages to make people feel good, to feel, and it's who's responsible for that, right? So you know what? I always tell people, like, we used to have public service announcements, right? You had, I'm just a bill and all that other crazy stuff. And
I'm just a bill.
Right. It's
dude, that's my shit, bro.
You got to have positive message.
It still comes on, I think.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's been. I don't really watch a lot of TV, but last time I was up early on a Saturday watching TV, I saw it.
Hell yeah.
But I agree with you. Is it you have to have positive messages? You have to frame the message or label the message in such a way to encourage people to have hope, to be positive. But I think we use a lot of fear. We use a lot of anger. because
it's clickbait. It's what gets numbers.
I don't know if you guys watch the show American Gods. back in the day on
No,
Stars.
you know it's crazy. I've heard of it. I've heard it's really good.
So one of the actors, his line would be "angry, get shit done," and I love that line because if you think about the emotions that drive you to action, look, if you're angry, you're gonna write that 1-star review. You're not gonna give them a 5-star review when they knock it out. But if you're angry, you definitely are gonna do this. You're definitely gonna act. And if you think about the stuff you're seeing in the news, these young men were angry, right?
Yeah.
It's whether it be bullying, whether it be other things, and I think you have to have messages that are positive to kind of balance that out, or people to intervene to say, hey, look, you're not. Hey, you need that day off, right? You need that mental health day
Instead of making you feel bad.
Yeah.
Correct,
They make
correct,
it. Yeah, they'll try to weigh you down. And I come from
guilt trip shit. Like, well, you can. I'm gonna let you finish. I just thought of another scenario. I remember one time I was already there, and I was just feeling like bad.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those days where like I don't think I'm gonna make it through this day. Like,
right.
And I asked, can I go home? I'm not feeling well. This motherfucker said, "Are you sure you can't stay?" Blah blah blah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just like, whatever. And I don't know how I battled through that fucking day, but I was in the bathroom, trying to just compose myself, and it was just, oof, boy. But that kind of let me know that it was time to leave that place because it was just
Right.
bad.
And Jared, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit on kind of how we chose our message. Would you care?
Mhm.
Is because what we found is going back to your mental health day where you weren't feeling well physically too. It's, hey, to another person, would you care if that happened to you? And when people think about things as happening to them or someone they love, I think they're more likely to not give you trash about taking that day off or letting you go home because they go, wait a minute, this happened to me. I wasn't feeling good. And think about it. If you got something contagious, you get the whole office sick. If that person's not willing to let you take that day, but it's, would you care about this happening to you? Well, yeah, I would care. So I'm going to let you take that day off because I want you to come back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Or to RJ's point is, guess what? If I work with you, you'll work with me. Like, look, I took care of you. So one day, hey, I need you to come in. They're willing to take that step for you because you took care of them. And I think a lot of people miss that.
Yeah, no, and that's one of my. If I'll tell you, that's probably my greatest quality as my in my managerial service and skills and all that is to sit down and because I interact with so many people from so many different backgrounds and cultures and all that. I mean, we all do, but like at least in my job in particular, it's you got there's a certain group of people that are willing to do that kind of work, and you have to respect that.
Right.
You have to because if I don't respect, I'm the boss. If I don't respect what you do, then why the fuck am I your boss and why are we here?
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Also, RJ, you got a really smooth radio voice.
Thank you.
Throw that
I
out there.
appreciate that.
You got that DJ voice.
Yeah.
Like Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
With RJ. Maybe some smooth jazz, some instrumental. Just throwing it out.
But no, but I think, and there were days. Well, yeah, you guys crack me up. No, but there were days where it's just like, damn. So I'll tell you right now, my best employee, he's from Pakistan. It's not. I don't even work there anymore. He's shorter than he's probably 4'5". Yeah, no, I'm just saying
Right,
if you were you would never expect the loyalty out of this person if you looked at him. That because obviously I
don't know. That's borderline racist.
No, is it?
I don't know. He's Pakistani and he's short. And you just not would think
I love
that
him.
He's just a good guy.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I think.
I love him.
Here's what I think RJ's getting is that look, everybody has value, right?
Yes.
And it's
thank you.
You look for that value in people.
I sound like too much of a real
No.
American.
Everybody has value, and it's.
I got something to tell you about that too.
I think too many people they see or they will judge things, and you're like, wait a minute, like give that person a shot, and they may surprise you to a degree that you did not expect. And I think, like, literally, we've all been in situations where we expected a certain thing. I'll tell you an example that happened to me one time to where when I moved into my house, my neighbors came over, and they were like, hey, you like Jewish people? And I'm like, well, I like all people.
What the fuck?
Hold on. See, I said that too. Like, literally, they rang the doorbell. They're like, hey, we could tell you like Jewish people. I'm like, really? Like, how'd you know that? So here's why.
Was it on my front door? What the fuck?
Well, that's exactly it. So the the couple who we purchased the house from, they were Jewish, and there's a symbol. I can't remember what it's called, but it's above the door. It's on the side near the door. So I left it up. So because I left it up, now I didn't know what it was, honestly. And then someone told it to me, and I'm like, "What's a good luck charm? Why would I take a good luck charm down?" And so they were like, "Hey," and we connected because they were like, "Oh, you like Jewish people? We can tell." And we connected, and so I had a story where a neighbor was taking my paper, for instance, right? He was coming in the morning, he was taking my paper, and
cheap motherfucker.
well, I got upset. So
I would too.
So
why is he taking
for that shit?
well, hold on. So here's how it goes. And so, do you know what a game camera is? You use it when you go hunting. You put it out in the woods, and it'll take. So I borrowed a friend's game camera. I put it on this little tree. My wife's like, "Why are you doing all this?" Like, you could, look, I could get a second paper. I know what to do, but I'm pissed off. Again, angry. You know, you get that anger emotion. I'm like, why is he taking my paper? Right? So I set up this game camera, and I catch old dude. Like, click, 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 click. I'm thinking, well, he's going to stop now because I got him. He don't stop. So then I find out where he lives. You know, he's in one of the cul-de-sacs. Got this little dog. He got the little dog with the sweater on and stuff like that.
Yeah, oh, shit.
So I roll this house. My wife's like, oh, my God, you're going to get killed over a paper. Because she's thinking you're going to confront this guy. I said, sweetie, I'm going to be very civil. I'm just going to go. And she's like, oh, my God, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I do it. I go, and I have these pictures. I knock on his door. He thinks I'm selling for UNICEF or something. I don't know. He's like, we're not interested.
I don't want it.
No soliciting. And I'm like, no, sir, I'm not. I said, I just need your help. I just need your support.
I want to know why you're fucking stealing my paper.
Well, no, Jared. So I show him that I said, someone's been taking my paper, right? And I got a picture of him. And I'm just wondering if you can help me. So I show him the picture. And the first thing he says is, that's not me. Right? He says, I said, well, sir, I didn't say it was you. I just said, I'm just asking for your help. Right? I'm just really looking for some help so this person don't take my paper. And his little dog's in there, and his little dog's yapping at his feet. It's got the same outfit on in the picture that he got on right now, right? So he's like, look, that's not me. That's not my dog. He said, that outfit is very popular.
No, it's not.
Look,
First of all, ain't nobody putting those sweaters on their dogs every fucking day,
I got
bro.
you, Jared. But see, you know what? I'm like, you know what? And he's like, yeah, I can't help you. And then he asked me a question. He's just like, why don't you just call and get another paper? And I'm like, because I shouldn't have to, because it's my paper. And he says, well, maybe the guy's borrowing it. I said, well, borrowing it would imply I gave him permission to take it. And I wouldn't do that until I had read it first. I said, I'd be happy to do that after I read it first.
Yeah, I want to open the motherfucker up.
Yeah.
So literally we have
the
this.
paper, dude.
And then he goes, well, I can't help you. So here's what I do next. Wife's like, oh, my God. Like, don't do it. I take those pictures and I post them on those little light posts or whatever in the neighborhood. And I'm like, paper thief, please help. You know, guy. So I leave it out there, right? I post it. And then, ding dong, he rings the doorbell. Wife's upstairs. He comes. He's like, sir, I need to talk to you. People in the neighborhood think I'm stealing your paper. I said, what? Why do you think that? They were like, well, these flyers are up. I said, did you tell them that wasn't you? And that's not your dog? And if that sweater's popular, I think it's on Amazon. You know, you can get it. He's like, I told them, but they don't believe me. I said, well, you know, praise Jesus. Like, you know. And my wife's upstairs like, Arvis, you know. I'm like, so he goes, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to help make sure nobody takes your paper. I'm like, sir, how you going to do that? He said, well, I walk past your house at like 5-something in the morning each morning with my little dog, and I see your paper. I say, you do? You don't say, you see my paper? He said, I tell you what, I'm going to throw it on your porch so the gentleman won't take it. He called him person a gentleman. And so I said, that asshole ain't going to do it. He's going to come on my porch and take my paper because that's what he does. Sir, I assure you, the gentleman won't take your paper again. He's going to throw it on your porch so you don't have to come out to your driveway and get it. I'm not going to take it. Or he said the person's not going to take it. So, look, I'm not letting him off the hook. My wife's upstairs giving me trash because she knows what I'm doing. I'm like, that SOB ain't going to stop. You can't do it. Look, she's like, Arvis. And I'm like, so he said, sir, I assure you. So I said, okay, sir. And then he said, how many signs you put up? Right? And I'm like, and I don't remember. And I said, but I'll go around and take them down. And he gives them to me because he already took them down, right? Because I only put him in a little cul-de-sac where he lived. I did that on purpose. And so, okay, so the next morning I wake up, I go out. Sure enough, my paper is right there about like Norman Rockwell is right there by my porch. I'm like, oh, this is nice. But then the Jewish neighbors call me. and said, "Arvis, can you help us? Some guy's stealing our paper."
Paper, oh.
So he took the paper next door. That's
Oh,
what he
my
did.
goodness.
So here's the deal. So I go over and see him because I would help them because they were elderly. And like I said, we bonded over the fact that I kept that sign up. And so I go back to the guy. And he said, "Hey, can I help you?" He says, and then he gets a little flustered too because I go back to his house. He's like, "Look, your paper was good." I said, "Sir, the person took the paper from my neighbors." He said, "Oh, man, how many people do you know on this street?" Right?
Yeah.
All of them.
So I did lie. I said, "I know all of them," even though I didn't.
Yeah.
And so I live on this one street, and then he mentioned the cross street. And you know what? I stopped because I realized that I thought I was teaching this guy a lesson that he wasn't going to stop, and he wasn't. He was going to take someone's paper.
Oh, yeah.
So I told him on my street, which wasn't true. I didn't know everybody on the street. And then he said, "What about the cross street?"
Oh.
To say, so I tell people that story when I say win a battle, lose the war, because that guy was going to take somebody's paper
No matter what.
no matter what. And he did. And so, but he just didn't take my neighbors. And so whenever they had an issue with people, they would call me. And again, we bonded because I kept a good luck symbol by my door. And so, like I said, I tell that story because it's like when you work with people, but literally my wife thought I was going to get hurt because I was going to confront somebody about taking my paper. I did something similar when the dogs were poo-pooing in the yard.
Yeah.
She thought something was going to happen to me, but I let people know that, hey,
This yard ain't to be shitted on.
you know
It
what
is pretty rude to have like some.
Yeah, at least pick the shit up.
Well, you know what? It happened like 6 times, right?
All right.
So it once or twice, you know what? But it happened 6 times, and so I had to do it. So what I did was, but you don't know. It's like it's shit terrorism is what it is, right? You don't know who did it.
Yeah.
It could be son of Jared. It could be like whoever. And so what I did was I got a spray. Like one of the sprays was berry urine. It had berry urine in it, whatever. And so I would spray the edge of the property.
So the dog wouldn't like the shit.
That's exactly what I did. I did that for 30 days. And so some of my neighbors were upset with me because their dog would come to the threshold of the property and start acting funky. And they'd be like, "Arvis, why is my dog going crazy?" I'm like, "Oh, I put a spray out." And you don't have to put it out every night as long as it doesn't rain. But I did anyway just to prove a point, right? And the wife's like, "Oh, my God, they going to hate you." She called me asshole. But I'm like, okay.
No, you're shitting on my damn lawn.
Well,
Yeah.
but here's the deal. The neighbors were like, well, I didn't do. I said, "Well, look, I don't know who did it. So I want to send a message to whoever did do it." And then I had one neighbor say, "Well, why don't you put a sign up?" I said, "What kind of sign? Like, don't poop in the yard?" I said, "No, they know. Who's going to pay for the sign?"
Yeah.
And so, long story short, one person did admit to me that they were one of the people. They said, "Hey, look, I forgot bags." I said, "Well, you could have came back after you got home."
Yeah. Yeah. No fucking bullshit, dude.
And you know what? Again, this is the pettiness of Arvis. Once I found out where they live, I dropped a little poop off in their yard just for GP.
Yeah.
Again, but because, like I said, and the wife got mad, but it didn't happen again. That happened very early when we moved in the house. I've been there. But yes,
Hey, man, you gotta let motherfuckers know, dude.
eye for an eye, poop for a poop.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I've always been.
That might be the title. Poop for a poop.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me,
That's
dude.
it. Most people don't know that either.
No, but I've always been very fortunate to have good neighbors, in my lifetime.
Poop
Here,
poop free lawns too.
yeah. No, I remember. I think I learned. Well, no, I'm not. Now I'm thinking about when I was younger, when I was a kid. Like I think one time. Here, let me take my glasses off real quick so I can see. Oh my god. No, I think I was sitting at the kitchen table with my dad, and obviously my kitchen is like where the front of the house is. I mean, you look out the window and there's the front yard. You know what I mean? So sitting at the kitchen table with my dad, and somebody is walking their dog, which was not really common on my street. People had dogs, but not like the collective neighbors that I had. Okay. And they started pissing. Yeah. And so
Back then, less people had dogs. Like nowadays, everybody.
yeah, everybody's got a dog now. I feel like everybody I meet, they're like, "Oh, you like my dog?" It's like, what the fuck? There's another one. Like how many of them?
I think COVID helped with that too.
Oh
A lot
no,
of
for
people-
sure.
Well, it's crazy. I actually got my sister got a cat about a year ago. Like just as a emotional support animal kind of thing.
Okay.
Cat's cool. I mean, she chills. But she kind of hinted she wanted to get one. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. Like, it's no big deal. Like, I like animals,
And supporting the mental health thing we were talking about, it
Yeah.
does help
Yeah.
with mental health.
Yeah,
like
sure.
that, so.
And
I wanted to get one, but I've talked about this before. They want fucking way too much money at my apartment complex for that shit.
I see. Go ahead.
And so I came home one night, after coming from the bar, I'm a little saucy and all this. I walk in, there's a cat just sitting on my couch, and I'm like, oh shit, like we really got a cat. Like I had no idea. So I sat down and
she was like, this is my spot now.
yeah, no, I was like, all right, nah, man, that cat's cool as shit, dude.
Cats are gangsters. They will.
And fucking what I was gonna say is it took her probably because my sister adopted her from a friend who moved down to Richmond, had too many animals and all this other stuff.
Gotcha.
And took her maybe about 2 weeks to kind of get adjusted to us and all that other stuff. But yeah, now I came home the other night. My sister was staying at her friend's house, so my mom's already asleep. I walk in the house, and my cat's just sitting there on the couch, dude, because knows my sister's not home, so I was waiting for me to come home.
Litter box at? I never.
In my sister's room.
Oh, okay. Ugh.
No. Trust me, you would never know it's in there. I promise. Like, because I'm, as much as I like pets, obviously after a while, because my aunt, she had, plenty of dogs, cat, multiple animals, and, the house is going to start to smell like pet. You know what I mean? And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like, I don't want the crib smelling like
cats
this.
are relatively clean, though. I will tell you,
Yeah.
if you don't have allergies, that's true. Now, I will tell you, my big thing is how cute is the pet, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully I won't alienate any of your readers.
No.
I'm going to pick on the pug, right?
All right.
So I've often wondered,
That's an ugly ass dog.
who the hell picked the pug? Like somebody bred the pug, I don't know, hundreds of years ago, whatever, and said, this is a success right here. We did it. The face, the body. They were like, let's quit.
I think they were invented. They were bred to catch mice, I think, or rats. Let me hold on.
With that little
That's
face?
actually... Well,
I think that would.
that's actually kind of
Is that-
fascinating now.
okay,
If they were
alright.
like really bred to do
have a-
something like
okay.
that.
No, most dogs are bred to do something. Well,
Okay.
either a
So-
look or something.
See, I grew up with Lassie, right? And I used to get mad with Timmy. Timmy's playing it well and doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, Timmy, keep your ass out of trouble.
Lassie is a border collie.
He is.
Smartest. Those dogs are smart as shit.
And they look good. So
Yeah.
I get why people want the border collies, but the pugs, right, and the chihuahuas, hopefully I don't offend you chihuahua fans, because they irritating, and they small and, yeah, they make a lot of noise.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
But most cats, except the hairless cat, I think look good, right? You take the hairless cat off the table, I think I'm voting Team Cat.
Yeah, no. So my cat, they're very self-sufficient. Like, she doesn't,
Right.
she'll play, but she just chills, man. Like, she's a house cat. She doesn't really like going outside or anything like that.
Oh, I was completely wrong.
Really?
But I was
were they
I was
bred
right
for?
the second part. But it was hold on. Let me
An ancient breed. So this is our ancestors thousands of years ago.
The Chinese.
400 BC, right? They were like, we need to make us a dog with facial challenges. They can't breathe. They can't swim.
Well, hold on. I'm trying
It's not going to protect us.
make it bigger. Hold on.
We can put handkerchiefs around their necks.
Yeah. Oh my God, not the pug. Or an ancient breed with roots.
I
dating
apologize, people, but the pugs I've never understood. The pugs and chihuahuas. But I will tell a positive dog story with the corgi. So I didn't like the corgi at first. I thought they were a little silly.
That's the dog from
The queen has the corgis.
Yeah, but fuck, what's the name of that? Oh, Cowboy Bebop. That's a corgi.
So there was a corgi in my neighborhood I would see, and he would get out because the kids would let him out. And that corgi always greeted me with such love that it melted my heart, to where I went in the street to save this corgi when a car was coming.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me logically, Arv, are you going to get in the middle of a car and a dog? I would have told you no. But literally, the dog was so sweet that I went in there and I would bring him back to the owners. Were like, hey, we're moving. We're thinking about, hey, do you want him? I said, well, no, he's 9 years old. But literally, it was a breed I didn't like at first. I just thought they were silly with the little legs, but they grew on me because they're so loving, right? Whereas the pug, I apologize to the pug lovers. I haven't gotten it. I mean, you know what? A pug better be able to fix my phone, right? Fix the Wi-Fi, like maybe fix my car, do something like that.
Well, when
special
we were
skills.
reading before, it said it was bred by the Chinese in the 400 BC, and it was for wealthy
for
people.
the wealthy people.
So
yeah.
it's a status dog.
Yeah, it's a status dog. Yeah.
So cute dogs if you're middle class and below, but if you okay.
Well,
All
rich
right.
people are into weird shit, man. I mean,
Look, I got you.
And then
did you hear about the guy who made a $50,000 house for his dog?
No.
I think okay.
Before we go to that, we were talking about the corgis. So people know corgis were bred as cattle herding dogs, which I did not know. And it's also referred to as healers, meaning they would nip at the heels of the larger animals to make them move and shit.
I love corgis now. So all you corgi owners, props to you. Corgis are amazing.
I know somebody that has a corgi.
See
Corgis are dope. I like
see,
corgis.
But the Chihuahua and Pug owners have not moved me over like to the light side of the force. I'm still Darth Maul
Yeah.
when it comes to the corgis.
No, I mean if I had,
Speaking of that,
I'd probably get a Rottweiler, man. Honestly,
Oh, that's good. Dog. I like Rottweiler.
Big ass dog.
Yeah, they are big dog. Well, my grandmother had.
I'm saying that, and I want a German Shepherd. No, actually, I don't want a German Shepherd. I want a Dutch Shepherd.
I
Yeah.
like the Shepherds. That's my
Yeah.
favorite breed.
I want a brindle Dutch Shepherd. Brindle,
Oh,
you know.
that sounds unique.
I know a guy in my neighborhood who. Hold on, let me put that. He spent fucking $2,000 on that dog.
Ooh.
Actually, he might have moved out because I haven't seen that dog in a while. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's a pretty fucking dog. I was like, what kind of dog is it? He was like, it's a Dutch Shepherd, and he said he bought it from a lady in Maryland. I guess she
Okay.
breeds them. Fucking $2,000.
Well, that's why she breeds them. Yeah.
If I'm paying $2,000 for a pet, that's a lifetime dog.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing, Jared.
Like,
I
hey,
tell
bud,
people
you're here with me to the end, motherfucker.
Me and you, dog.
is even when you buy the dog, if you get it at something less than that, have you heard about the dog surgeries? I've had some neighbors had to have surgery on the dog.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Man,
Dutch Shepherds usually have
hip problems.
Hip problems. Yeah,
I love the Shepherd too. That's my favorite dog, by the way.
Yeah, that's mine too. But I like, and they're fucking scared. What's the other one? The Mameluke. Looks like a German Shepherd, but it's I can't remember the name.
Is it a Belgian?
Yeah. Belgian Mammal.
I forget the name, but we have one in our neighborhood. They're a beautiful dogs.
Yeah, my old martial arts instructor had one, and his name was Contour, and that dog was scary as fuck because it was a trained like guard dog.
I got you.
But it was cool as fuck. If he knew who you were, and he'll come put his head on your, like, if you're sitting down, put his head there, and like you just pet him, and he just chills. I was like, that's how you know the dog is loyal. Like, it knows who it's supposed to protect and who's protecting it.
Right.
But and that motherfucker, if somebody would knock on the door of the office and he was in there, up on it, like, bro, I'm like, yo, you're just loud now.
There you go. There you go. Nobody's breaking in the house. You got that dog.
Hell no.
They're like, look.
Well,
that's always there
was a
good thing.
reason he got that dog though. I mean, it's public knowledge. He had a home invasion.
Oh wow.
This was a long time ago, and the story's online. I don't know how much I want to get into it, but
I got you.
There was a home invasion. So then they ended up getting the dog later because of that. But it was like guns involved, disarming.
Oh my
like
God.
they went into the wrong house because this dude was a fucking good
He's
martial artist.
Yeah.
And there was other martial artists in the house. So
Wow.
and then it turned out one of the guys that was there, I guess what they were doing, he worked at UPS.
Okay.
So what they were doing was getting the package. Like when they get the packages, they'll go to the house.
Yeah.
They'll know like, oh, this is a nice ass house. Let's see.
Oh, I see.
So that's how they were getting the addresses. So they had been doing it before. But
so they were like scouting for the most part.
I see.
yeah, but that's how they were getting their information
Okay.
because they were driving the packages to these places. Turns out one of the guys, when they arrested him later, like I think it was like a year, maybe 2 years later, he was a known serial killer.
Wow.
Yeah, so they fucking got lucky.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's a wild story. It's online.
Where did this happen? I've never heard this before.
This is in Maryland.
This is Maryland. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look at it. How recent is this? Is it
2009.
okay, so it's like it's a bit old.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I feel like I've never heard that before, and you're like, yeah, it's online. I feel like
just
I would
remind me if y'all can remind me. I'll pull it up. I don't know if I want to kind of talk about it on here because I don't know how much he would want me to talk about it. So
No, I got you. I understand because that's some serious stuff. That is, I will tell you, that is some very serious stuff.
And there's a 911 call recording for it too.
Wow.
Like it's wild as shit, bro.
Yeah, it is.
I think, at least for me, like, we've all gone through things in our lives and everything. And just after talking to you guys for like the last, like, I don't know, however long we've been sitting here for.
Hour and 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, which is fine. It's just like, we got to realize like how kind of fortunate we are. Like some people go through some wild shit every day, and then you come home because you had a bad day at work, and you're like, oh, this sucks. Man, shit could be worse, dude. Like no bullshit, dude.
I don't know. I have been trying to, and I think I talked to you about or said this on the show before. I've been trying to be more grateful. What's the word? Gratitude. Have more gratitude. About
that's important.
Certain stuff, because then, like you were saying, like you don't realize what other people are going through, or how bad it could be. Like I was upset about my car earlier. I'm like fuck.
Yeah,
I left the fucking shit on. Battery's dead. Can't get in my trunk because the fucking
yeah. We're over there like looking. I was like, what is this? He was like, it's an anchor.
Yeah. No, it's for child seat.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I was pissed off about that because I don't have my car. It's like whatever. But it could be much worse. I could not have a car at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just on the light side of things.
And you know what, you two? I think that's a perfect segue back to the whole mental health thing. Is the gratitude is when you get caught up in your own thoughts. I know it happens to me too, and you think about, hey, what am I grateful for? And you just go, wow, it could be worse. And for some people it is. You could have a debilitating condition. You can have other type of things. In fact, when my thing happened in the military, I had a friend who he was less than supportive. I should say that.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting cancer and dying. Oof. And that's when he called to say, hey, and I didn't think about, and I said, look, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So even though he and I had a disagreement, I said, look, I feel for that. I would not want that to happen to you. And I think we do forget because in the moment, it's the worst thing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we get wrapped up in the machine, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's like just any, like, unfortunately, like, tragic event that occurs, like,
right.
in your life. That's only when you really stop and think about it, like, for the most part. And as, going back to the whole mental health thing, like, for me, and I'm assuming a lot of people, like, sometimes, like, I need reassurance, like, to make sure that I'm not crazy. You know what I mean? Or not even crazy, but it's like, to get my mind going again. Because, it's one of those things where, I'm somebody, we're like public figures, right? Like for the most part. And, I was the face of a business.
First of all, that's strange to say. Like,
What, that we're public figures?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I know. Well, to an extent. Let me stop tooting our horn a little bit. No, but then it's like, you have all these expectations and all this other shit, and you meet them constantly, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is. And then sometimes you come home and you sit down, and it's like, man, I wish somebody would just say, hey, man, it's all right, and you're doing a good job. No bullshit.
A gold star, yeah.
Yeah. Something, a pat on the back.
Well, and I think that brings up a really good point is you don't know what you don't know. Is, you think, you might be doing amazing and somebody doesn't give you the feedback or you think you're doing terrible.
Yeah.
And people are like, no, you're doing amazing. And but people don't take the time to compliment you. Brings me in another segue story. I was on a flight to San Francisco a long time ago. And I was in, regular coach. And the flight attendant was amazing. I think it was 4, if I'm not mistaken. And one of them was amazing.
That's rare.
Like, you know what? I don't want to say that. But what I will say is you could tell that one was like, I'm talking all pro.
Yeah.
And so I went up, I get up, I go to the back of the plane, and I said, you know what? I said, ma'am, I said, you're the best flight attendant I've ever seen in my life, right? I said, how come you're not in first class? And she started crying.
Oh.
She used to be in international first class.
Okay.
But she got into an argument with another flight attendant, like the head flight attendant. And so based on her word, she got cast down, so to speak.
Wow.
And so I said, ma'am, I'll write a letter. Because think about it. Who writes a review for a flight attendant? But I did. And then I said, well,
yeah, it's usually like boom, boom.
Right.
I'm in, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I need to be, and that's it.
So I wrote a review for her. And then I asked a couple of other passengers, and they did too, and she's crying. And then she and I for a little bit kept in touch, and she's like, hey, I've been re-elevated. And it was other things too besides the letters, but they looked at it, and I've been re-elevated to international first class. And so, but she was like, thank you, because she's just nobody writes reviews for flight attendants. And I'm like, I just watched how precisely she did, and I'm just like, wow. Because I was like, I've never seen this. And I'm not saying any service has been bad before, but it's like.
That's funny you say that, because I remember not so much growing up, but like even when the days of the airlines first started, like TWA and all those things, like the flight attendants they weren't called flight attendants, but they were called stewardesses back then for all you young people out there.
Right, I remember that.
Young people. All right.
The flight attendants were like that was the reason you kind of went on the flight almost, if that makes sense. Like the pilot, like you get on the plane, like you talk to the pilots, you can see the like if you're a kid, they'll let you, hey, you want to go into the cockpit and that shit and get your look.
That stop, but you still get the wings.
You get the wing. Oh, I remember.
My kids just got some wings from Southwest. Yeah,
Southwest. Yeah. At least it wasn't Spirit. Do they even give wings? Do they have wings at Spirit?
They like $80. No. I will tell you, and I shouldn't say this, but when we had a flight recently, and the Spirit Airlines was next to us. And I was sitting next to a group, and they announced.
He said a group.
A group about to get on.
I think I know where you're going. No, I have a story too.
Here's what they said. The announcement was, if you did not pay for your carry-on luggage, you need to line up. And I was like, you got to pay for the carry-on? And I didn't know that, but the lady next to me was Spirit, and she was in the group. She's like, oh, yeah. And they looked at your bag size. So if you had a tote, like a lady had a tote bag, and they were like,
oh, no, that's too big. That got to go down.
Right. And so literally it was like, so I started teasing the group, right? So I'm next to the group, and I'm like, how many butt cheeks you want on a seat? That's $50. And they start laughing, and they said, don't give them no ideas. And I said, you want one peanut or you want a pack of peanuts? And they start laughing. And then I said, hey, you want some water or you want some essence? Water. And the lady told me a story. She said, and I don't know how true it is, but she's like, look, Arv, do you know I asked for a third glass of water and they said they was going to charge me.
Oh, my
And
God.
I started laughing. So like I said, I don't know. It was just, and I apologize, Spirit Airlines people. Look, we were just messing around at the airport. We were just messing around. We were just having some fun with it. Because like I said, but the people take it because they were like, look, the rates.
Yeah.
But like I said,
I got one too. I was coming back from, I think it was St. Croix, and our drop off for our baggage was over here. I forgot what was I on. It was either American or United. I can't remember now. But Spirit Airlines was right next to us.
right.
And I just started seeing it's going to say fucked up. It's going to sound fucked up. I started to see the type of people that were going to the line. And I was like, oh, it makes sense now. It looked like fucking Soul Plane. Like
You know what? You ain't had to go there. You ain't had to. I was thinking it, but don't say it. It's one of them things.
It's for the purposes of comedy.
Yeah, I got you. It's
the
like,
views of Jared are not the views of the man.
There you go.
There
There you go. There you go. You got something. I was like, I thought that too.
Yeah.
In fact, I said it to the people there, but I wasn't gonna put that up. But it was
Snoop Dogg smoking weed up front as a pilot and shit.
You know what though? I will tell you, they provide a service. They found a niche. However you want to do it.
Oh, they found a niche.
They found a niche. But yeah, I will tell you that everybody has an airline they love or at least like enough to keep flying. So here's what it is.
Mine's American right now.
Oh, you like American?
Yeah, fuck United.
Do you have a situation?
Yeah, I got stuck in another country.
That doesn't sound good.
Actually, it was kind of our fault because this is when me, Clay, and Jay went to Panama.
Oh, okay.
It was for my 40th birthday. And so Clay left the night before.
Okay.
And he flew into Miami and then went on. Our flight was the next day, and we still had to drop off the rental car that we used the very first day just to get to the fucking place.
Yeah.
And I drove that motherfucker to there, which in Panama is the fucking scariest thing. Driving in Panama is the scariest fucking thing.
Oh, okay, Jerry,
I've ever
let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Name a place that you've driven where you say these drivers are excellent. Like this is a great place to drive. I've been waiting to hear a place like that.
Yeah,
I don't-
that's a mythical.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
all right. I just was
land.
okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead, keep your driving story. I
in
just was
another,
curious.
in
But
another
it's,
realm.
it's just different there because it's like there's like this roundabout where you're going, and then they got cones and traffic, and then there's
Oh, wow.
police officers over here, and then there's people just going, and you have to like kind of figure out where your place in this whole little merry-go-round is, and it's scary.
No, I got you.
But anyway,
Fuck, dude,
anyway,
that sounds fucking nuts.
we didn't even end up needing the fucking rental car the whole time. Like
Did you Uber or
we
Lyft?
Ubered because Uber was fucking like like a 20-minute ride, 30-minute ride because our resort was far from the city and shit. Probably $6.
Okay.
Here you probably would have paid
50.
20 to 30, yeah,
Right.
depending on
XL,
the time,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that shit was wild. What was I going with this? Oh, so yeah, then we get up.
You got stranded.
Yeah, we got stranded. So the morning we're supposed to go, I packed the night before.
Okay.
Me and Jay were drinking at the bar down that's in the little hotel. Yeah, and so I packed the night before, and I was like, bro, you should probably go to your room and pack so we can fucking be out of here in the morning.
Okay.
So I get up a little late. I wake up, I'm like, oh fuck, we gotta go. I fucking go have all my bags and shit, go upstairs
Okay.
to this guy's room, and he opens the door, and all his shit looked like he was gonna be there for another week. It's like,
So this is Jay's fault. Like
Partly.
Yeah, you gotta blame Jay. All right.
and so then he finally packs all his shit. We get down. We don't know how to get because we don't have GPS. My phone doesn't work there, and I think his phone doesn't work there. So we're trying to figure out how to get back to the airport. So we have to pull over, like this is rush hour traffic. Motherfuckers trying to go to work,
Wow.
and we pull over. There's a guy at the bus stop, and we have to pull out our best Spanish skills to fucking figure out where the airport, like I can't even remember what it was, but it was like whatever the airport is.
Right.
Airport or something. I don't fucking know. So we finally figured out. He was like, "Oh yeah, go this way." Blah 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 blah. So we finally get there, and neither one of us fucking remembered to check in. You know,
The day before. Yeah.
we didn't remember to check in.
So wait a minute,
So we're
Jerry.
there an hour before.
Yeah. International hour before.
Yeah. No. I mean, we got there. No, what happened was we got there like an hour and a half or 2 hours before the flight was leaving,
Okay.
but they said we had to check in within a certain hour,
Oh, I
or
see.
they would give our seats away, and they had given our seats away.
Oh, I see.
And then I don't know. It was a bunch of shit. So we missed the first flight, so we had to wait there. So now our connecting flight is probably gonna be gone by the time we get there. So yeah, so we ended up staying, trying to sleep in the fucking Houston airport like, overnight until our next flight to come back home.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an ordeal.
You know what? I remember sitting at the bar waiting for you guys to get back. I was sitting in Lucky's. R.I.P. by the way. Yeah, I remember when you came back, and then you told me that whole story, and I was sitting there drunk at the bar. I missed you. Happy birthday. No, I'm just telling you. No, but I do remember you guys going, and then who was? I don't know. Somebody was there. No, I think I was texting Jay. He was like, "Yeah, we'll be home soon." And then like 5 hours went by, and then you guys finally like showed up, and I was already like 2 sheets.
Oh yeah, because we're in the fucking air, motherfucker.
Dude, no, I just waited there for you.
Oh, that Houston airport shit, like sleeping in the airport is not fun, bro.
So here's the question though.
Nothing stays open. Everything closes. Like
Yeah, that's true. I've been stranded there before too because, but my stranded was, so I'm from Beaumont, Texas originally. So I was taking I flew into Houston and then from Houston to Beaumont. Even though now when I go home I rent a car in Houston and just drive. It was the landing system because there was fog. So I got stranded there because hey, we can't land in that airport because the visibility is too low. But look, I wasn't faulting United too much in that story. I was like, I don't know about that one there, Jared. I was like, you guys was a little late. You had this, but I hear you.
There was a few things that was going on.
There's a
We
few
should have
things-
flew into Miami and not Houston. I will never do that again. Going to the Caribbean, I will always fly out of fucking Miami.
Miami. In fact, I thought Dallas was I think is Dallas Delta? I don't remember. I know Atlanta is Delta.
Atlanta's Delta for sure. I don't know what. Well, I guess we were on. Like I said, we were on American. No, we were on United.
You say United. Okay.
So I don't know. Let's put it this way: there was another flight that was leaving that was going to Brazil from there. So I think that's
see.
where they use for like Central America and maybe South America also.
I got you. Now, I will share this fun fact that I have found helpful when I've ever traveled is calling my phone carrier. And what I typically will do is they'll have a package, like $10 or $5 or something like that. Whereas, if you're going somewhere new, and I did this years ago, I haven't been overseas in a minute, where they'll give you, so your phone does work. Now, may not work as well.
It was working. I had T-Mobile. It was working. It just I couldn't get a good signal for like using GPS and shit.
I got you. Yep.
What?
Travel is crazy, man.
Yeah, it's fine. Wow, you should try it sometime, RJ.
I know.
You
Maybe
don't
I
travel,
will.
RJ?
Nah. Well, hold on. So
Don't explain to them why you don't travel.
It's not that
You
not
like
that I don't.
B.A. Baracus? Is that what it is?
No, I don't even know what that is, but no.
The A-team. He wouldn't get on flights.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's him.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So I've been on planes before. I'm gonna tell a story. Hold on.
He's been on one plane,
No, I've been on more than one plane, sir.
and then he drove to the airport.
So all right. So years ago, I was gonna go visit my family in Ohio.
You've told this story before.
Yeah, I know, but Arvis, I've never
Okay.
told Arvis. So years ago, I was gonna go visit my family in Ohio for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Got a free plane ticket because my uncle travels for work all the time. He all this other stuff. It's an hour flight, Arvis, if that, maybe 45 minutes
That's a good deal.
from here.
Wait, mind you, free plane ticket.
Okay, all right.
Hey, look, I'll
45-minute flight.
That's a good deal, man.
Yeah. So hear me out. So what I do, and I haven't been on a plane since I was a kid. All right. So this was maybe, this is probably like 7, 8 years ago. Okay.
Okay.
And anyway, so my roommate wakes up early in the morning, and I smoke a blunt with him, dude. I get high as a motherfucker, right?
Okay.
Okay. And I smoke with him on the way to the airport. He drops me off. I go through check-in and everything, and I'm sitting there. And I'm watching the planes take off, and I was so high, Arvis, that I started having a panic attack, right? I was like,
okay.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't getting on that motherfucking plane, dog. I was like, dude, I was just tripping balls.
Look, I understand that.
Yeah, I was tripping ass, dude. And so I left the airport, got in a cab, went back to my house, got in my car, and I drove all the way there. Took me 9 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, took me 9 hours when I could have been in the air just for 45 minutes. Yeah, but I was just so smacked out of my mind, dude. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing that.
Look, some days, final destination. You gotta do what makes you happy.
I was like, I don't need to be up there. I was like, why do I want to be up there?
Because it's fucking fun.
No, okay.
How was the time with the family though in Ohio?
It was great. No, I had a great time. But at the same time, I was just so in my. You are more likely to get in a car accident.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, then fall out of the sky.
That's true.
That's an actual statistic.
It's called physics also.
Thank you.
You know what, though, RJ? I will tell you this. You got to be comfortable, right? You got to be comfortable where you're at.
Now, granted, if I hadn't have smoked and started just noiding out like that, I probably would have just gotten on the plane.
Yeah.
But Jared gives me shit about it, so.
Oh, I 100% give you shit about it.
I got you.
Like, I love flying. We talked about this before. I want to fucking go to space.
Would you go to space, Arvis?
Yeah, that's a good question. Would you go to space?
You know what? I'm probably going to shy away from the space thing for a minute.
Why?
I'm cool with this planet. Well, I'll tell you my take on it is, God bless all the people working on all this space stuff and whatever. I'm like, let's fix the one we got right now. I'm more of a Earth. Like, don't get me wrong. I like going other places, but not my thing. In fact, I was thinking about RJ's story when he was talking about that. And I use food as an example, right?
Yeah.
Is we like what we like, and we don't know why, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for instance, I don't like fruitcake, right? Now,
Nobody likes fruitcake.
well, see, that's what I thought. But then if you do the search,
I'm good.
they
I'm not a big fan of
sell
fruitcake
millions of pounds of fruitcake, so somebody's eating it, right?
No, people are buying it because they think it's a Christmas gift. It's a good. It's the worst Christmas gift you can ever. If a motherfucker ever buys me fruitcake for Christmas, you're a fruitcake.
Well, but see,
saying
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
well, see, and that's what I'm saying. To work.
Point proven.
There you go.
So we all have like for instance, I use the eating thing. I know some people when they eat, their food can't touch, right?
Yeah.
So
I know,
you look,
yeah, I know people like
and you're like, and I remember I was with someone and I'm eating my food and see that doesn't bother me. My food, it's all going to go to the same place, right?
Yeah.
Plus, I don't eat my food in an order. I throw everything down there.
Yeah.
And that bothered them. Like they were like, they'll eat all of this and then all of that, and I'm like, no, I'll take this and then this and then this. And
No, I'm the same way.
I don't do that. I don't eat one out of the order or out of order or some order or whatever.
Right.
But I'll be like, all right, I want a little bit of this, and I want this, and I want to have a little more of this left over at the end type shit. Like I'm
So
weird.
you
with my
manage. Well, that's what I'm just
shit.
saying. We all have
I
that
manage
thing.
my food.
You manage your food.
management.
I will tell you this: if I have like some Thanksgiving dinner and there's collard greens and there's whatever, if that juice touches anything else, I need to
Seriously?
I need to.
Oh
do
wow.
No, I am kind of similar in a sense. It depends on what it is. Like I don't mind if my food touches, but it really depends on what. I can't even really give you an example, but like I guess Thanksgiving
That's
is,
a good one, yeah.
It's I guess like so I'll like like you guys like green beans, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Of course,
yeah,
of course, the white man loves green beans.
Yeah, I do like green beans, Jared, and I'm also white. Thank
And
you for
put
pointing
it,
it out.
and you put it in casserole, don't you?
You know what? Green
dude,
beans are about equal opportunity. I think everybody likes green beans.
Dude, green bean casserole is dank, dude. Just
Says the white man.
Yeah.
But can it touch? So like I
so
like
no,
putting
the juice from the green beans. If it
Oh,
goes
so
into
you're
like
talking
my
about-
potatoes or something like that,
Oh,
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
when
no.
I'm like
part of
it's fine. Like potatoes
Potatoes
are
are sacred.
they are
I
very
see.
sacred.
I see.
I'm a big potato guy.
So-
like
I
baked,
see.
mashed. That you can make a potato.
Speaking of that, did you ever get those things from Wegmans that I told you? The little I forgot what they. It's like en gratin, but they're
No, I
they're
don't-
like cakes, bro. You got to get those.
Here, shit, man, we can go tomorrow, dude. I don't care.
I got you.
You got to
Well,
just remind me.
Well, see, mine is I like putting the cranberry. Right,
Yeah.
I like that sliced cranberry.
The
inside
can.
the- Yeah, I love the can and mixing it all in.
In
right?
what?
The dressing.
Ew.
See that for me, I'm like, it's a party in your mouth. It's a party.
Oh,
it's a
no.
party in the USA, right?
Yeah.
This shout out to Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
No.
Look,
wait,
see, but
wait. So you're telling me you put the sliced can,
cranberry, yes,
the refrigerated? Is it refrigerated at least?
yes,
Yeah.
It's cold. I like
yeah.
it cold.
No.
I like it cold.
No, it's
Now
it
we're
has
talking.
to be cold though.
Yeah, it has to be cold.
Yeah, it's got to be cold.
We're
dude.
good up until this point. When you start mixing it in with the fucking, you talking about the stuffing, like
Yes,
like
yes,
the
yes,
Stouffer's
yes,
shit.
Yes, I love that dressing.
Nah, dog.
Well, but see, that's what we talk about. Is everybody's got their food thing, right?
You might as well just put cranberries in there.
Look, you know what? I like the jelly.
Have you?
Jelly's good.
I know. Okay, that was another thing. Damn, this is a weird fucking topic of conversation.
No, it's not.
Um,
It's actually fascinating. I'm fascinated.
So, I remember like one year my cousin decided she wanted to make cranberry sauce, like fresh cranberry sauce out of real cranberries.
Oh wow.
I was like, nah, I'm going back. I want my can.
Well, the can. Yes, I like the can too.
I need the preservatives, damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants the real fucking thing? Yeah. I mean, some shit's just good that way. I mean, I like the shit in the can, and you have to eat it cold. It's got to be cold.
Yeah, it's got to be cold.
If it's not cold, it's.
I like to slice it. Well, I slice it in half, but then I like to slice the halves. So they're like little triangles almost.
Right. So I'll use my wife on one. She likes ice cream with chips in there, right? Where I like the chips.
I feel like that might
and
keep
I like
hurt
the
just
ice
thinking about
cream,
that.
but that salt and sweet thing.
No, I don't. Yeah,
That
salt and
sh-
sweet don't work for me.
Well, but see, and me either. It's look, I'll have the chips and I'll have the ice cream, but them together.
Nah.
But for her, that's her thing.
You know what?
right?
There are people who dip like the Frosties at Wendy's. They'll dip
dip
their
the fries
in it.
I've
Yeah.
seen that.
That's
I've
the
seen that.
I think it's like a similar.
No,
thing.
I've never been that kind of guy.
I don't.
Man.
I don't like salty
it's-
and sweet together.
No, I don't mind salty and sweet. It depends on what it is, but like the whole dipping your fries in the Frosty or the milkshake or whatever it is.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah, it's weird to me. It's like people that put ranch on everything. Like they so like
Or
there's
ketchup. Or ketchup. I know
ketchup,
some people
okay.
they like their sauces.
Yeah.
Shout out Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, so fucking whatchamacallit. But yeah, there are certain people. It's like I made pizzas for years, right? So
Right.
there's some people that live and die like I have to have ranch with my pizza, or it's not good. That's
actually
not true.
It's actually pretty good.
I'm not saying it's not good, but
Yeah.
they like
Not every
that's-
time.
It's they will only eat it that way, and then they'll use ranch on everything.
That
They'll
was
dress-
some shit that happened some traumatization that happened to them as a
I
kid.
think so because I like ranch. Don't get me wrong, but I don't put it on everything. I put Old Bay on a lot of shit. Okay, do you like those goldfish, Jared? By the way,
They're okay.
Yeah, I like 'em.
I think Old Bay is overrated, but I digress.
yeah.
What were you saying?
No, I was going to say, but it just goes back to preference that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Is I always think, there was some event that happened, and that event, it sets you out down that path. And so, like, my mom makes a homemade pecan candy
Okay.
that I love.
Pecan candy.
So think cream and sugar and and pecans.
Like pecan pie, but like
but it's the candy. It's
Ooh,
and
that
literally
sounds good, dude.
yeah.
I'm like a little kid when she makes that. Like I get all giddy. She sends it in a box, and I'm pushing my kids away. Like they were like I got mad one
Get your
time.
ass away. This is my
I got
shit.
mad because she put their name on the box one time. Like I was in my feelings. I said, Mom. She says, Arv, I'm sorry. I'm a grown man. It's my kids. And the kids are like, she put our name on the box. That's our candy. I'm like, man, if y'all, because that was like, so that's what I'm saying with food and those experiences, you have something that reminds you, what's the best meal that your mom makes for you that you love?
Oh God, I could think of fucking plenty, dude.
What about you, Jared? What,
I don't have one.
you don't have one?
Well, my mom's currently making pasta salad, and that's fucking badass.
Is that bad? So it's, and think about other
Yeah, it
people's
sounds like
pasta
crazy.
salad,
Oh,
right?
man, it's so good.
So you judge other pasta salads by mama's pasta salad. So you eat it, and if it doesn't quite hit the way mama's does, you kind of push back. Now that happens to me. Like we talked about greens.
Yeah.
My mom makes a very vinegary rich greens, which is what I like.
Yeah, I like that.
So when I have greens that don't have that, I kind of push away. First I'm excited,
Yeah.
and then I just kind of push it away. And they were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Well,
Yeah.
I'll eat
I'm
something
that
else."
way mostly with, believe it or not, I'm that way with macaroni. I'm super big on that, dude. If you don't make a nice mac and cheese, and then
Yeah, mac and cheese is a. Yeah, if you fuck mac and cheese.
yeah, I
can't
mean, there's
fuck with
it's there's so many ways. I'm very particular about that. And the only other thing I wouldn't say my spaghetti because my mom's Polish and Italian, so I eat a lot of like pierogi and all this other shit.
Sausage or meatballs?
Well, so I'm more of a meatball kind of guy. I like a meat sauce. Okay, meatballs are fine.
You like a lot of meat, huh?
Yeah, I like all the meat, Jared.
Okay.
How does that make you feel?
Making
Hey,
sure.
folks out there, I like the meat.
Just checking in
All
on
right,
you.
so
Shout out Arby's.
shout out. We have the meats. All right, so
We're not getting paid for that.
yeah,
so.
no,
Yeah.
I know, but it had to be said. But anyway, so it's not so much the noodles; it's like how you prepare your sauce. Because if
She make homemade sauce?
no, because my great aunt grows her own tomatoes up in PA, and so I mean, I'll find a good jar sauce, which is fine, no big deal. But if she wants to make her own or whatever, it's fine. But my great
hold on,
aunt,
real quick, fun fact about we have the meats. You know who wrote that?
no, I have no idea.
Pusha T.
Really?
Yes, 100%. And he also did da 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 da.
Oh, the McDonald's one?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
but he fucked up. He has a story online, but he fucked up and didn't
He didn't patent it or
like they.
copyright it?
Yeah, well they paid him once for it, and they paid him like it was for how long they used that shit. They didn't pay him enough, but
I see.
he's got the rights to the Arby's shit, so he's getting paid off of that.
Oh, that's fucking
I
all right.
know.
That was just a
Two
quick-
up, two down, baby.
Quick
Let's
side,
go.
exactly.
Yeah,
2 up, 2 down.
So
Oh, look at that. That's a fun fact for you.
yeah, but like sauce, I'm like very particular with. Like, so yeah, my great aunt grows her own tomatoes. She makes her own homemade sauce.
Okay.
And I could sit here and talk about it 10 different ways until you try it. You're not gonna know. You know what I mean? But it's fucking amazing. So Like those are like two foods. Well, I would say sauce, and I guess you could apply it to pizzas as well.
I agree with that. Of
course.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Well, the
sorry.
sauce is a lot of it. I will tell you, I'm particular about the sauce, and I like a garlicky.
Yeah.
But it's unique to what you grew up with, what you love, and so I'm with you. Where I've had spaghettis where the sauce was so good, I ate more spaghetti than I should have.
Do you know people who put sugar in their spaghetti?
Yeah. Do you put sugar? Yeah. I'm glad you asked that because I don't.
I don't either.
I'm not against it.
One time somebody tried to offer me some, and I was watching them put the sugar on. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
So I will tell you, we typically will buy the sauce. So I don't know if it's in there already, but I would tell you there's sauces I like more than others.
Yeah, I'm sure like there's a little bit of sugar, but I'm talking about this is sauce bought from the store. They make the spaghetti
They put sugar.
and they add sugar, like granulated sugar to it.
Okay.
I was like, this is disgusting.
It's supposed to take away some of the acidity, I think, from the sauce.
Oh, okay.
However,
Garlic can do that.
which I agree. Okay, 100%. You're not going to get a no from me on that, sir. But somebody was like, it was like maybe a couple months ago. Somebody posted like, "Hey, do you put sauce what is it, sugar in your spaghetti sauce?" I was like, absolutely fucking not. I was like, what psycho would do that? And then more and more people.
The same cycles that put pineapples in their pizza. I digress.
No. So, first of all, there's nothing wrong with pineapple.
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I fucking pulled it up.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with pineapple on pizza. Is it a little? It's not, dude.
It's like putting sugar in your spaghetti.
It's not. And if it is the same thing, then maybe I would like that. But I'm not willing to try it, Jared, because I don't want to ruin a whole jar of sauce for my temptation of sugar. Okay. And I like pineapple on pizza.
Pineapple on pizza is disgusting.
Well, and I think he brings up a point is sometimes it's the idea of something.
Yeah.
Like we don't like the idea.
Sweet
like,
and salty.
I'm going to give you one. So being from Texas, I remember when they start frying Oreos, right?
Oh, that's
now I was like, what happened in your life
Actually,
that you
those
got to fry
are
some
good.
more? But I've never had them because the idea doesn't appeal to me.
I didn't either until probably last year. I had
You had fried
one or
Oreos?
two. Oh, boy,
Really?
they're fucking fire.
So it was, what was
Can't
it?
be good for you.
Fried
Like, what's
candy
it?
bars.
No, it's not.
I think they fried a Snicker, fried Twinkie. And I'm like,
That
you
might be too much for me.
You frying this stuff. So I've never had it. And so you're right. I'm critical of it, but I've never actually tasted it.
That's how I was with fried pickles. I was like, fried
I've
pickles.
never had that either.
I love pickles, and I'm not a huge fan of fried shit, but fried pickles are pretty good.
See, I love pickles too. Never had fried pickles.
They're good.
Dude, yeah,
that's like a southern thing. I think I had it in
We're
Tennessee.
pickle people. I like pickles,
I had
too.
it in Tennessee, Nashville.
So check this out. So my wife's friend came over one day, and she asked me about pickled watermelon rind, right?
No.
And I'm like, what you talking about, Willis? I'm like, I said, look, I'm from the South, and I've never even heard of that. So I had to call my dad. You know, it's like a lifeline. I'm like, hey, Dad, is pickled watermelon? He's like, oh, yeah, it is. I said, man, I never had that. So she bought me some because she could tell I didn't believe her, and it wasn't bad. And so it goes back to the thing is we have a thought in our head, something doesn't appeal to us, and then something expands our thoughts a little bit, and we go, okay. Or maybe not. Maybe we're not willing to cross that, right?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, greens. I've had tons of greens that didn't have the vinegar base, and my taste buds have not said, hey, we like this. No, we like the way Mom makes it.
Yeah.
Like, she'd make the greens with turkey necks, or she'd put bacon in there, and it'd be vinegary. And my taste buds, when I see greens, my brain clicks.
It clicks onto that.
Yeah.
It clicks onto that, and then I taste it, and I go, and I just put the fork
I
down.
think mine just clicks onto like whatever the best ones I've ever had, because Roaming Rooster, it's a chicken sandwich place, chicken place in DC. I think they're putting one in Burke now.
Oh, sweet. I'm actually excited.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't had them yet.
No, I haven't. You know how I feel about my chicken sandwiches,
Let's
man.
put it this way: Roaming Rooster has the best chicken sandwich. I don't want to say in the world,
Yeah, it's a high bar to set
for
there.
sure in the DMV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have good collard greens. Mac and cheese is good.
Oh, wow.
But and then you can get different levels of spiciness on it.
Now, here's a question. Are they consistent?
100%.
Okay, because I'll give you an example. My wife loves Popeye's chicken, for instance, right? So
They're pretty consistent.
there's a Popeye's in Alexandria in this area.
yeah.
She goes, that one is always consistent. In fact, she just thanked them. She went the other day and she's like, look, she's gone to some others and she's like, look, some days up, some days down, some days neutral. She says this one in Alexandria, she said, always good. So she thanked them and they were like, wow. They thought she was going to complain. She's like, no, I just want to let you know your chicken's always consistent. And so when I ask about a restaurant, that's a big deal for me. It's like, for instance, I won't name the restaurant, but let's say they make chips and salsa or chips and guacamole. Well, some days the chips are salty as hell, and some days they're okay. And I asked, because they were like, hey, you're not buying chips. And I said, who made the chips? And they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious now.
It's Chipotle. I ain't gonna say, but it was Chipotle.
You know what I was thinking
it
about?
was Chipotle. It was Chipotle.
Sometimes
I didn't want to say.
Sometimes they're
Chipotle strikes again.
sometimes their guacamole is salty, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's perfect. Sometimes it's like, why is there so many onions in this motherfucker?
So you know what? Again, with the chips, at least it was like, yeah, it depends who made. So they knew, and so it's kind of like, shout out to my like orthodontists, teeth cleaners, things like that. I remember getting my teeth cleaned one day. This was years ago. And I remember setting the appointment. And the person says, hey, who do you want to do it? And I said, oh, okay. I didn't have a preference. So I went in there, and my mouth got murdered. Like, the lady had a whole hand in my mouth. And
Damn.
it was like, and they laughing, too. I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus. Dude, I didn't
They
go
said
for
they were
cleaning for
laughing,
like
too.
2 years after that.
Fucking gripping this chair like.
And here was the thing. Here was the thing. They were like, yeah, nobody chooses her, so she's always open. Like, I would have had to wait. Well, right. They were like, you would have had to wait if you chose anybody else. Oh, I kicked it by accident. Sorry about that.
Good.
So literally, I didn't know that. So here's what I would do. When I would go in, I would ask. I would say, well, who's the best? And they would never answer because, right, they work there. And so I'd say, okay, who would you choose to have this? They'd be like, oh. And then they would tell me, and then that's who I would pick. And then once I would go in the room, I would tell them about my horror story. And they always would take extra care. And so it's kind of like you come up with a way to compensate, but we all have preferences. It's built on something. And sometimes you kind of get your mind shattered a little bit. Sometimes you don't. But you just gotta test it out and see.
I'm not eating that shit.
Well, see, look, I have yet to get me a fried Oreo. I've been offered to people like,
They're good, man.
here, get your fried Oreo. And
I mean, it's to be honest, it's what you would expect a fried Oreo to taste like. It's not like the bread like you get on like shrimp or some shit.
Right.
It's just like basically like funnel cake flour.
So you know what's crazy, Jared? I used to come up with a crazy story that's totally made up about how they came up with the first fried Oreo. That's how bad I used to think about it. I'm like, okay, they fried all the fish they could. Bam, bam.
Yeah.
They fried all the chicken they could. Cow, cow. They fried all the French fries they could make. Boom, boom. And then they was walking. And they had a big old thing of Oreos. And they tripped and fell. And Oreos fell in the batter. Cow. And they started frying the Oreos, and they were like, damn, I fried all these Oreos. What am I going to do? And then they ate one. And they was like, damn, now we're going to have fried Oreos. That was kind of always my joke, because I'm like, what happened in your life to make you try some stuff like that, right? You were like, look.
Probably a fucking stoner, to be honest with you.
Look, I break them apart. I put them in the milk. I had a strict Oreo regime.
You know why?
Why?
Because marketing put that in your head.
Did it? Did
Yeah, it was like, remember when growing up, the Oreo commercials would be
Yeah,
like,
you
you
dip
dip it in the milk,
Yeah,
and you take it apart and you
That's-
eat the
that's
cream.
me.
Yeah,
That's
hell
me.
yeah. No,
That's all
you
fucking-
have to lick the cream, Jared.
That's all psychological marketing. That's to make you
It
fucking.
worked.
It worked, and now you think you can only have Oreos that way.
That's
you
it.
can't handle the truth.
No, you can't, motherfucker.
I just wanted to point
You
it.
can't. You haven't had a fried Oreo before.
Shout out
It's-
to you,
yeah. I want a fried Oreo. Hell yeah. Fucking, I don't know.
It's just. Have you ever had funnel cake?
I'm not a big funnel cake fan.
Jeez.
either, no.
I like funnel cake.
Okay. So talk about fair food.
King's Dominion has the best funnel cake. Period.
I will say King's Dominion also
$87.
has one of the best candied apples. So I'm a candy apple guy
I
and a
haven't had
caramel
one in a
apple guy.
long time.
I don't like to mix and had a half and half. I want a full. I don't want no extra nuts on or nut. a caramel apple and a candy apple, with candy being my favorite. But people be messing them up. Like, you can mess up a caramel apple, you can mess up a candy apple. But that's my fair food.
I haven't had one in so long.
A caramel apple does sound pretty badass right now.
But it's some people, it's the cotton candy. Some people
Nah,
I do like cotton candy.
Links on a stick, or it's the big ass chicken legs, or turkey legs. I'm sorry, the big turkey legs.
Well, now fried Oreos are a fair food now.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are. So it's everybody has that thing that you associate with the fair. The smells. I look for the candied apples.
Mine's funnel cake. Oh.
Yeah, I'm a funnel cake
With
guy.
the strawberries on top, the powdered sugar and the
yeah.
strawberries on top.
I don't. I've
See,
never had
strawberries
No,
are a
not
great
the
equalizer.
strawberries. I like the cherry ones better. The cherries on top. I know you're gonna say, because a lot of people don't like cherry pie. I love cherry pie.
No, cherry pie is fine. I'm actually not a super big cherry guy. Like, I mean, I like them.
Not the cherries that go in drinks, you fucking alcoholic. The cherries that go are in the sauce, like when you make it into the syrup.
Oh, well, I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for mentioning that here on the show.
Because you were thinking about those cherries, weren't you?
Nah, I'm thinking about something. I'll tell you that much.
What you thinking about? Drinking?
Dude, I don't know how I'm alive right now. Like, yesterday was just fucking crazy. Like, I'm still feeling it. But I also had like 4 drinks earlier, so that probably doesn't help any.
No.
Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. I was just like, hey, you know what? It's Saturday. I got a 3-day weekend. It's Memorial Day. And I was like, whoop. Took a shower. Hit my bowl. I'm feeling good. But, yeah.
Anything you want to add before we go? Because we're at
We're at your time.
Yeah.
I'd like to encourage you, if you're so inclined, to go to the website, www.wouldyu.care. Read the stories, sign the petition, share it. And again, we're not asking you to 100% say, hey, yeah, we're asking for an independent panel. We're asking for an independent panel to look at the information and to say, hey, this was wrong. And these cases need to be reviewed, because the military won't do it. Again, they're worried that people will not want to join the military, that families won't encourage their loved ones to join. But again, our slogan is, would you care? Again, if it happened to you, if you were falsely accused of something, if you were wrongly convicted, if anyone's ever lied about you and that made you upset, then please sign the petition, share it, encourage others to sign it as well. And thank you. And thank you guys again for allowing me to share that story.
Yeah, no, not at all, man.
No
Thank you
worries.
for coming on. It was a pleasure, to say the least, man. Hopefully, somewhere down the line you can come back on and share some more stories with us, because I know, we've known you for quite some time, man, and you've always got something very intelligent to say, something interesting to say. You always have endless information, which is refreshing, to say the least. So thank you again, Arvis, for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit. And that's about it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to episode 135. Yes, 135 episodes of this here Mad Scientist Lab podcast. As always, it is RJ, the pizza guy, along with Jared, the visual mad scientist. Jared, say goodbye. Okay, there he is. And Arvis, again, thank you, man. Here, shake my hand real quick. That's awesome, dude. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no. Thank
for
you,
coming
man.
over.
So we will see you guys next week. As always, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you can't get to us Monday, you can do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe I'll write a description tonight. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? All right. So we will see you guys next week. And peace. Have a nice Memorial Day weekend. Okay.
Hey, man, you sent her in here with them titties. What you expect?
Oh, and rest in peace, Ray Liotta, dude. Goodfellas is like one of the greatest movies of all time. I knew it's important.
We're out.
I'm gonna hit
It's
you so
important.
hard you won't see nothing. Ever,
Damn.
ever, ever.
I was thinking about that.
Ever, ever.
Audio skulls all day.
The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab.
You can't have an opinion on something that you haven't even tried.
Exactly.
The merit scientist